like fucking butter. Look at how fast I did this. Right? Oh my god.
Welcome back everyone to Skincare and Beauty with PerkiPerkins. So today I'm so excited because for the first time ever, I've had a lot of firsts, it seems like this last month or last 30 days I should say, but for the first time ever I have purchased my first ever Pat McGrath product. On launch day, I picked up the Pat McGrath Divine Rose Volume 2 from Pat's website, and today I will be doing just a quick little tutorial showing you how I created this look, my first impressions on the shadows and what I think about it. So if that interests you, keep on watching. But before we go any further, I would greatly appreciate if you would hit that subscribe button, select all in your notifications. This way you're notified the moment I make any new uploads. Let's get to it and let's start my review and unboxing of the Pat McGrath Divine Rose Dose. Alright you guys. So as I mentioned, this is my first ever Pat McGrath product ever. Let me just open her up. Honestly, the packaging for Pat McGrath is always very well known. It's very unique in my opinion. It's just, you know, it looks very custom almost. So you unseal it. And look at this palette in all its glory. It's just so gorgeous. And what's neat and I do appreciate is that inside the box they actually have the name of all the shadows from the palette. Now I have been told that Pat McGrath actually introduced a new formula in this palette, which is called a multi-chrome in the palette actually, which I did apply it on my lid today. So yeah, so this palette actually has shimmers, multi-chromes, mattes, and I think I saw that it has a pressed pigment as well, which would be the pink. So look at this palette. Again, it's just so beautiful. Like, Pat definitely does not skimp out when it comes to packaging whatsoever. This is a 10-pan eyeshadow palette, which retails for $125. Now, I did happen to sign up for like a notification, so I ended up getting 10% off, which is really cool. This is the only thing I bought from the entire launch because there's just no way I would be able to validate like a $40 lipstick, even though they're gorgeous. There's just no way I could say, oh yeah, it's worth the 40 bucks. No. Personally, this was already a splurge, probably the last splurge I'm gonna make in a very long time. And trust me, it's been a hard week, being that I really did want to purchase a few items this week, but I'm holding off. While I swatch the palette, I will also go over what each color is. I'm starting off with Skin Show Rose Opal, which is a very light pinky shimmer. Then I'm going to go in with Naked Blush, which is a very creamy, buttery matte. And now with Eleganza, that shade was just so gorgeous. I really love that shimmer. Then Bronze Rose 005. I actually didn't get to use it in the review, but it was a nice shade. Then Gold Lust 001 is very beautiful. Extreme Burgundy, that was a nice matte as well. I had no issues with it. It's just, that part of my arm has a little hair. And then Divine Dusk, Rose Seduction, VR Sextrestial, I can't pronounce it, and then Estral Pink Moon. I would like to mention that Rose Seduction, that very beautiful, darker kind of burgundy-ish pink, is a pressed pigment, so it can stain your eye, just so you're aware. I'm not sure if you can see that well, but the mirror itself has this really nice heavy-duty beveled glass, which I absolutely appreciate. Look at that. What's nice is that they give you free shipping with your purchase, and I would hope so, being that the items are all very expensive. When it comes to the purchase process, I will mention is I was there on launch day. I was a little late on signing up, and there was an issue where I had the Divine Rose in pink in my cart, went to checkout, and I ended up getting a confirmation for the original one, for the Divine Rose 1. So that was a little bit of a letdown. So by the time one of my friends told me, hey, the wrong one's on your confirmation, by the time I went back, of course, they were sold out. So the website was kind of glitchy when I was doing my process, and I literally kept on backing in and out of my cart. So it might have been that they might have just been in the moment of selling out the pink casing, because it would have been super cool to get the pink one. So that was a little annoying. Like, it took me literally 15 minutes for checkout because it kept on kicking me out. And then to end up getting the wrong confirmation. And so now I have to return the Divine Rose 1 because it's too neutral for me. I have enough neutrals. This one was more eye-catching to me. That's my little story and my experience going through the PerkiPerkins website. Once I did place my order, it took about 6 business days to get my order delivered to my home. So I'm gonna stop talking and show you guys how I created this look. It's very nice, very easy, soft pink moment with a little bit of sultriness, you know what I mean? But anyways, let's get to it and start the tutorial. Alright, you guys, so I have my base done, and I actually used, of course, as always, my Gerard Cosmetics clean canvas for the eye base. So I was already prepped and primed and ready to go. I'm starting off with Naked Blush on my crease, and I'm using a Hank & Henry brush. I think it was Melly or Deli, and I'm building it up until I get it to the intensity I'm looking for. These mattes blended out so easily and effortlessly. I'm honestly in shock. I went in very light-handed, but because I've had my base on, but I'm very surprised of how little pressure I needed to apply to get the job done. Now with an Alamar brush, blending brush at that, I'm using Extreme Burgundy, and I'm lightly tapping it on the outer corner, and then I'm buffing it and tapping motion to bring it in. I just want to create a little bit of depth on the outer perimeters. I'm leaving the inside blank because I don't want to do a cut crease, and I want to apply the shimmers and the special shades to the inner portions of my lid. And this shade was very, very nice. It blended pretty well actually, so I appreciate that, and it wasn't patchy. Now with a pencil brush, I took the Extreme Burgundy to my lower lash line, and I only took it in about 2/3 in. Again, I just wanted to create that connection from the top down to the inner corner so it keeps that kind of sultry look going. Now I was testing out which shimmer I would apply, and I ended up going with Eleganza. Eleganza is so pretty. I was, again, because I have my base, I didn't want shimmers and glitters all over the place, so I just literally lightly was tapping it in and kind of trying to shape out my eye itself, until I got it to where I was happy with the shimmer. And you will see that I wiped off a little bit with the brush because I did have a little bit of fallout because I did not spray my brushes. I tried to see how palettes perform without spritzing them in the first place. Later on I'll spray, but as you can see, it still give you that impact as well. Now I'm going in with that special shade VR Sextra Steel, and I'm applying it to the center of my lid. Then with Eleganza, I'm just blending it out, making sure the shimmers are blended nicely.
Wow, this palette is like fucking butter. Look at how fast I did this. It's barely been like a couple minutes. Right? And I had like a little shimmer right here fall out, but not much. Oh my god.
Now with another pencil brush, it's a little bit thicker one, I went in with Rose Seduction, and I'm doing that in the bottom lash line, and I'm taking it from the inner corner out and blending it in to Extreme Burgundy. And I also decided to just pop a little bit into the inner corner area just to give it more dimension basically. Now with a smaller blending brush, I went back to Extreme Burgundy just to buff out the shades, and that way it's nicely blended. Now this is a Luxie blending brush, and I just buffed it out. Next, I took Skin Show Rose Opal, and I'm using that for my brow bow, and I'm going to use it for my inner corner highlight as well. It's very beautiful. It just gives you enough pop to set the look. Now I'm taking Estrel Pink Moon, and I'm using that as my highlighter actually. I took my Hank & Henry Beauty Francis brush to apply it on the areas I liked, and I used my finger for focal points. Now I'm buffing it out with my powder brush just because it's a little bit more on the shimmery side than I usually prefer. Now to finish off my look, since I did not purchase no PAC products, I'm using my Gerard Cosmetics lip liner in Melrose Place, and I'm using my Bullet lipstick in French Toast to finish off this look. Now that the look is complete, I'm going to get off camera, finish my lashes, and be right back. So I'm officially done with my look. Again, I really enjoyed the palette, you guys. I'm honestly in shock how easily everything blended. Now I would like to know is the palette had quite a bit of kick up inside the pan itself, but personally it doesn't bother me. There's just people out there that it does bother them, but the multi-chrome, duochromes, all the shimmers applied so beautifully. I did not spray a brush whatsoever. It was just like butter. Like, I went in very light-handed because I did my base for once in advance. Usually I do my eyes first, but I was like, well, I see everyone else doing the reviews with their base on, so why not? I don't see much fallout, which was true. The only thing I had a little bit of fallout, I guess you could say, was the darker shade, because I must have not tapped it off enough around this area, which is where I have my higher cheekbones. But other than that, that was perfectly fine. I even used one of the opals as my highlighter. I kind of regret not using that darker pink, the Rose Seduction. I regret not using the pink for blush. That would have actually been really, really cool. And again, I do that from time to time with palettes. The biggest question, is this worth the money, you guys? I think for someone that collects Pat McGrath, you know, it's worth for them. It's like, why would they not get one palette when they're so used to the formula? I definitely think the formula is very special, but is it worth the $125? Again, the 10% off was pretty much me covering sales tax because I'm in California and tax here is 9.75, so it covered my sales tax. I don't know, like, I do like the formula, and I would say, oh, I would try the minis, but I've seen so many bad reviews with the smaller palette that it's just not worth me. It's not worth me wasting my money on those. Everyone has said invest in the 10 pan. So is it worth the money? If you haven't, because it's not a necessity, if you have the money to spare, it's worth it. If you don't have the money to spare, I definitely feel there might be other brands out there which actually do as good as quality. I would highly recommend like checking out indie brands. Indie brands have been doing multi-chromes for quite some time, and they might be expensive individually, but compared to $125, I don't think you will end up spending that much money with the indie brand. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's up to you whether you feel spending the money is worth it as a kind of like a one-time thing, unless something really catches my eye. Like the palette I really wanted to try was the Star Wars. I had hoped that one was gonna restock because that one to me was even more unique in a way, because I have a lot of pink shades. That's why I'm not keeping the Divine Rose one. I have plenty of pink shade, neutral shade palettes where I don't need another one, you know what I mean? But anyways, let me know in the comments below what you guys think of the palette, the tutorial. Did you guys like the look that I created? Do you guys think it was worth the money? It's not worth the money. Do know right now the palette is available at Sephora. Now, there was a lot of confusion about whether the palette was going to be limited edition. The palette is not limited edition, so Divine Rose is going to continue being a staple in Pat's collection. The only thing that was limited edition was the pink packaging. That's why I wanted the pink. But again, I got it. We're cool, you know. It is what it is. You know, I should have paid attention to the confirmation as soon as it came. I waited hours. But anyways, thank you all so very much again for joining me today. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Please remember, if you could and you enjoyed my tutorial and review, I would appreciate if you guys hit that subscribe button and hopefully hit the like button as well. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you all so much. You guys have a beautiful day or night, whatever time it is for you as you're watching. Goodbye.